At the start of the week, as I was preparing for this Sunday, and we were going to continue in the Hope series, I had a strong feeling from the Lord that He wanted us to pause the Hope series. And there was something in my heart, and I can only, I guess, describe it as a holy dissatisfaction. There was a sense of a desire, a frustration to experience Him more. There was a sense of an urgency in my spirit that God is wanting to presence Himself with us in a new and powerful way. And that there are times where we need to just push things aside and change the agenda and just hand it over to Him in a fuller way, I guess, and just say, Lord, I've got no idea what we're going to do, but You do. And that's really what's happening this morning. I have no plan. Sorry about that. But the good news is God does have a plan. And we just want to create space for Him. And so in a moment, I'm going to invite some people up. We're going to have some words, and we're going to see how the Lord wants to minister to us. But before we do that, I want to just frame things by looking at a section of Scripture from Song of Solomon. And the Song of Solomon is a beautiful book in the Old Testament. And it's a prophetic book. It talks about a bride and the bride's lover. But really what it's talking about is the bride being the church. In fact, it's a Shulamite bride, and Shulamite was a Gentile. So this is the church, and the lover being Christ. And this was something that in Space on Tuesday, for those of you who were at Space, we started our meeting by looking at this. And there was such a strong sense in that evening of the invitation of Jesus to experience His love. And as I was praying and thinking through, and I was speaking to some people this week, I was chatting to the wonderful Eric Turner, Eric and Janine, who have been members of our church for a very long time, and faithful servants of the Lord. And I received a message from Eric that said, remember the picture of a membrane that I saw sitting above the congregation? And a while ago now, maybe a few years ago, Eric said, I don't know why, but I see this membrane over our church. It's almost kind of a blockage. I think that was the sense of it. And then he said this, well, it seems that the membrane has gone. The membrane was blocking God from pouring His love into us. It was pouring over us instead, missing the spot and running in all directions away from us. He wants us to open up unconditionally to allow His love to fill us up. Once started, we will be unable and unwilling to control it. He will continue to fill us up, and the love He fills us with will be like nothing we have ever experienced. We will be able to share His love, and it will never run out. People may think they know this. They have never experienced this before. This is love like no other. I believe this prophetic word is of the Lord for this season, and I've spoken to many others who have got this sense that there is something the Lord is doing afresh and anew. I was speaking to someone this week, and we were talking about church and the church global and where people are at the moment. And she said very discerningly, I don't think there's an all-out rejection of church, but there's certainly an indifference to it. And I think we would do well ourselves to ask ourselves the question, is there an indifference in my heart? I love church. I love what we do here. And, we are called to come together. In the Bible, church, the Greek word is ecclesia. That means the coming together of His people. The church is you. I said that at the start of the service. And I love how we congregate together, and I love how we seek God in the ways that we do that. But the danger can be slightly that the framework that is helpful, the order of the service that is godly, can sometimes become the thing. Can sometimes become what we seek, and the experience of the great worship and the great donuts and the talk from the front can sometimes parade itself as the thing. But it's not the thing. The thing is His presence, encountering His presence. And I had that check in my spirit this start of this week to say, you've got to get rid of those things so that I can show who I am. And I had a word from Fred and Elizabeth, who were up on the screen. He said this, I feel like the Lord is saying, give me more space. I need more space to reveal my power, my character, my love. Give me more space to manifest my glory amongst my people. And that's what we're endeavoring to do by the grace of God and by His help, is to create space. But as I continue to frame it, I want to read Song of Solomon to you. It says this is the bride adores her beloved. And so you've got the bride who represents the church, and you've got the beloved. The voice of my beloved, behold, he comes. So this is the lover, this is the bride speaking. The voice of my beloved, behold, he comes, leaping over the mountains, bounding over the hills. Do you see that sense of eagerness of Christ to come and presence himself with us? Do you see the energy by which Jesus is wanting us to experience him? My beloved is like a gazelle or a young stag. Behold, there he stands behind our wall, gazing through the windows, looking through the lattice. My beloved speaks and says to me, listen, this is Jesus speaking to you right now. Please hear my heart. These are the words of Jesus into your heart this morning. Arise, my love, my beautiful one. Yes, you are beautiful to him. And come away. Where from? From the distractions of this world. Where from? From the sin that so easily entangles us. Where from? The distractions of Babylon, the wealth and the riches of this world. Where from? From the indifference that we fall into. Come away, for behold, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. Listen, Jesus is declaring, I believe the word of the Lord is saying in this season, there is a new season that is coming. The winter, the struggle, the difficulty, the hardship, the Lord is declaring in this season that is passing. The winter is gone, the rain is over and gone. Why? Because the flowers are now appearing on the earth. What does that speak of? New life. It speaks of a blossom. It speaks of freshness. And I believe the Lord in this season is declaring that the flowers are going to blossom in this place and in your lives. The time of singing has come, and the voice of the turtle dove is heard in our land. The fig tree ripens its figs, and the vines are in blossom. They give forth fragrance. Arise, my love, my beautiful one, and come away, O my dove. In the clefts of the rock, in the crannies of the cliff, let me see your face. The Lord is saying, let me see you. Why are we hiding in the cliffs? Because of shame, because of guilt, because of fear, because of indifference. Listen, my dove, in the clefts of the rock, in the crannies of the cliff, let me see your face. Let me hear your voice. Let me hear your prayers and supplications. Let me hear your sweet voice, for your voice is sweet and your face is lovely. This is Jesus saying this to you. You might not feel that this morning. You might feel anything but lovely. You might feel like your voice is like a clanging gong. But Jesus is saying this to you, your voice is sweet to me. Your face is beautiful to me. Catch the foxes for us. The little foxes that spoil the vineyards. For our vineyards are in blossom. We are part of the vineyard movement. It strikes me how interesting this phrase is. We are in a season of blossoming. But we need to recognize that we don't want the blossoms to be a distraction to the one that gives the blossom.